Welcome to Top Sports Talk, presented to you by Top Sports News. I am your host, Caleb Jenneret, and next to me is my co-host, Isaac Deer. Isaac, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's we were trying to figure out a time, and the last couple of Sundays have been pretty busy. So as we're recording, it is 7:07 a.m. The episode will be out in like 2 hours on a Monday. So you were busy yesterday, Caleb. I got some birthday tickets for a WWE live event last night. So we've been pretty busy, but no better time to record than 7 a.m. on a Monday. So let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm
Yeah,
pumped.
we're doing all we can to get these videos out to you guys. So, before we get into it, always want to thank our sponsors, Invista Credit Union and Family Guidance Center, for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News, and also wanted to shout out the Ticker. I used the Ticker last week, looking through all the game scores, just figuring uh, out of all the Shawnee County games, which ones I missed and all the ones that I wanted to see the final score. So it's been a useful tool for me for sure. I know Isaac's used it as well, and it looks like everyone's enjoying it. So shout out to the Ticker. Um, really easy to use. Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about today. We had some state champs that Isaac's probably going to break down a little bit. So I'll just throw it over to him.
Yes, we do got some state champions, Caleb. Let's go, man. We got a lot. We got some tennis to talk about today. Uh Hayden completely dominated the other day. That day would be Saturday. They swept the singles and doubles and team championships. Six Hayden Wildcat players earned state medals. Sophomore Ainsley Zelita captured her second straight state singles championship, and if you're counting, she's a sophomore. So as a freshman, she won one. Now as a sophomore, she's won another. So you really can't get much better than that. Two straight state championships as a singles tennis player. It's pretty impressive. Lauren Sandstrom, junior, and then sophomore Emily Sheets, they won a state doubles title after finishing seventh last year. They dominated the day. Sheets and Sandstrom, of course, have had they had an amazing year overall, but they won the doubles championship. Zelita won the singles championship. Um, and overall, they still had a pretty good day. Freshman singles player Grace Funk posted a top 10 state finish, finishing 10th. And then the seniors double team of Bree Barnett and Sloan Sims finished 12th. So overall for Hayden, yeah, can't get better. That's
Mhm.
the goal all year is to do some damage like that, and they did. They took all the gold home with them, and just adding on to that athletic was it Hayden's athletic history with all the accomplishments and all the state medals and everything else. Just the Hayden Wildcats, they just keep getting better, and keep
Keep
getting
on
all.
winning.
Yep, keep adding on to that Hayden Wildcat resume. It's pretty impressive. But Seaman senior Lauren Sweeney came up just a little bit short. She came in within a set of winning her second straight Class 5A state championship. She dropped a three-set decision to Bishop Carroll Jr. Bryn Steven. Bryn Steven was also 25-2 on the year, so she was she was going up against a powerhouse like herself in that singles championship match. Nina Del Zio, also for Seaman, she finished ninth in singles. Uh, she Her match that she did win was 9-2 over Maze's Riley Fry in the ninth place match. Katie Crummins and freshman Molly Gorman finished 12th at state. That was kind of the dominant doubles team all year, finishing 12th overall. And then we got two more schools to get through. Washburn Rural seniors Katie Fritz and Meredith Kissera, they won some medals at the Class 6A state tournament last Saturday in Wichita. They placed ninth overall, and then they captured a 9-7 win over Blue Valley West to get that ninth place finish. So, and then in Rossville, Kansas, there is tennis in Rossville. Leva Schreier, Leva, she captured her state medal for her second straight year. She earned a seventh place finish in singles. She also last year she had a seventh place finish, so pretty top seven in the state 2 years in a row. It's pretty pretty solid. Her seventh place win was over Conway Springs Haley Osner in that seventh place match. So a lot of good golf this past weekend. The tennis season or golf, a lot of good tennis this past weekend. The tennis season really flies by too. It's insane how fast that goes. But yeah, but congratulations to everybody that placed and everybody that went to that tournament last weekend. Making Shawnee County proud. Making Shawnee County really proud. Yes. Cross country. We have some cross country to get to. Washburn Rural swept the Centennial League cross country team championships Saturday at Warner Park. Peyton Fink added a girls individual title to 1-2-3 finish. Fink, she finished the league meet last year as a freshman, third place, and then she won it this year with the time of 18 minutes and 53 seconds, while senior Madeline Carter had a 19-minute finish, and Riley Esmer, the sophomore, had a third place finish of 19 minutes and 25 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, bam, bam, bam. Washburn Rural taking all the Centennial League team championships with them. No one but Washburn Rural is taking that thing home with them. So congratulations on that, Rural. Segue to golf. I mentioned golf earlier, but I meant to say tennis, but now we're talking about golf. So let's get to some golf. We got a lot of golfing action today. 4 teams, some individuals will participate in the state golf meets going on throughout the state of Kansas today. It's kind of headlined by Seaman Senior Lois Dieter, Washburn Rural Senior Avery Scott, Hayden Junior Hannah Reynoldson, and Silver Lake sophomore Taylor Zordell. They're all headlining state golf today. So if you're interested in checking out some of the county's best golfers and teams, make sure to go to KSHSAA.org. That's KSHSAA.org. You got to click on the athletic tab, find the golf tab, click on that. You'll find the state assignments and where these golfers and teams will be. So if you're interested in checking out some state golf, today's the day. It's the only time you'll I think it's Monday and Tuesday. I'll have to make sure, but you'll have to go check out some good golf. I don't think any of the meets are in Topeka. Top of my head, you might have to take a little bit of a trip to see your favorite team, but yeah, if you want to go see some state golf, today's the day. Go and get it. But that's all I have for the main. There's a lot of action this past week, and we'll get to some football. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on.
Yeah, so exciting news for sure. With some state champs in the county and the city with Hayden pulling it out, which they've been good all year. So not entirely surprising with the dominance that they showed. But yeah, so moving into football, starting off with Hayden, the most anticipated matchup of the week. Hayden traveled to Holton and lost a big one. Dropped their first game of the year, 37-13. Holton really put it on them. Holton's a really good team. Always got tons of athletes, always super well coached. I didn't expect it to be a 20-point game, but I knew it was going to be close, and I knew any team could win. I wouldn't be surprised if these teams saw each other again in the playoffs, and playoff football is totally different. So you never know what could happen in that one. And I know Hayden's talented enough to win, to beat anybody down the stretch. So wouldn't be surprised if the outcome was a little bit different, but yeah, Holton put it on him this week.
Yeah, Holton's running game was extremely impressive this week. You think about Grayson Booth, who kind of headlined that. I don't even know how many touchdowns, 3 or 4 touchdowns. He's a senior running back for Holton. 231 yards on the ground, 196 in the first half. Jace Boswell also had 138 yards on the ground. So Holton just getting the job done on the ground. And Hayden did that thing where it's like, oh, they opened up the kickoff with a 90-yard touchdown, but the rest of the night was just kind of slow for him. Couldn't get anything going against an extremely tough Holton team at home. At Holton's house, not in Hayden's house. Holton's won 6 straight games. But they finished the night with 474 rushing yards and 72 rushing attempts with 508 total yards. I think the game plan was pretty dang simple for them. We're gonna run the heck out of the ball, and we'll see what Hayden can do. But yeah, uh, 474 rushing yards. That's a pretty good night for Holton, and that's not so good in the defensive meeting on Saturday or Monday or whenever they meet. That's a tough one, but Hayden has a winnable game coming up. They'll hit the road again and go play Hiawatha next week, and Holton will also have a pretty winnable game against Jeff West next week. But yeah, that was pretty impressive showing from Holton. Not a surprise there, but the surprise was the scoreboard for sure. But luckily for Hayden, that wasn't the playoffs, so they'll have their chance. But it was for the district championship, so that's a bummer for sure for them.
Yeah, definitely crazy. Moving on to Washburn, who handled business against Emporia as they won 49-14. Could have been a lot worse, honestly. It was 37-0 at the end of the first quarter, I think. So Royal has had a big bounce back 2 weeks after losing the 2 weeks before the last 2 weeks they lost. In the last 2 weeks they've won. But yeah, they'll look to keep winning as they play Topeka West to end the year. But what do you think about this game?
Oh, I think that the last week and coming into today, so their Topeka High 66-6 win. That's a lot of sixes, 66. Yeah, got that. And then they with the 49-14 victory over Emporia High. That's what we talked about 3 weeks ago, is that they needed to get a fast start after losing 2 straight to Manhattan and Junction City. Is like the starts were super slow, but all of a sudden it's like now I know Emporia, Topeka High are winnable games for them, but getting off those fast starts are extremely important. So I think that's been kind of the key here, and I think that rhythm that they're going to build is going to be important. Going into the playoffs, they have Topeka West this upcoming week, which will be a winnable game for them again. And I think if they could just keep rolling with that momentum, we don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. The running clock in the second half, past 2 games, like you said, it could have been a lot worse on the scoreboard, but a pretty impressive show, and I think that's kind of what we expected for them to do, and they went and got the job done. Titan Osborne, McKintis Adams, Brent DeWeese, all those guys showing up and showing out for sure. And yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody expected in a way. But yeah, a good quality win for Washburn Rural. They'll hope to keep this up and not have any slip ups this Friday, and keep that momentum going. Hot starts. That's the key, is the hot starts.
Momentum in this Washburn Rural team is dangerous because I think they have as much talent as anybody that they're going to play. They just need to put it all together and get those fast starts, like you mentioned, and close out those games. And yeah, I think they can beat anyone down the stretch. Moving on to Silver Lake. Silver Lake had no problems with Moore Hill. They won 54-14. The Eagles are rolling right now. They're looking really good going into the playoffs, in the 2A playoffs. So they'll play Atchison County this week, who is 5-1, but does have a pretty big loss to Rossville. So it looks like a winnable game for Silver Lake.
Yeah, and that was the last, since that Rossville win for Silver Lake. It's just, it's been hot. They've been hot, and that Rossville game at the time, it was like that can go anybody's way. But now that we're looking at this Silver Lake team with 1 week in the regular season left, is like, you know what, that probably was a winnable game for Silver Lake, even though it came down to a 2-point conversion in overtime to win it. But yeah, no, 2 convincing wins in a row. That Atchison County team could be tough, because I don't know if Atchison County lost last Friday. Did you say they're 5-1 or 6-1? Yeah. Yeah, they're a pretty good team. The Effingham Kansas drive is always a fun one too. A fun little story. In high school, we had to travel to Atchison County, and Effingham is kind of far from here. It's near the Nebraska border, and our bus driver took a wrong turn, and we were in Nebraska. We probably drove 15, 20 miles in Nebraska. And when he realized it was the wrong turn, it was like 5:30, 5:40. So we turned around. And by the time we got to the school, it was like 6:20, kickoffs at 7. And we put our pads and our helmet and everything. We put everything on in the bus. So we didn't warm up or anything. We may have warmed up for like 5 minutes or so. Safe to say, we got the crap kicked out of us. So, it's not like, that team at that time was super good anyway, but it was like, yeah, we didn't have a chance. And I'm not trying to throw our bus driver underneath under the bus, but it was it was, as long as this is my key to the game for Silver Lake. Don't accidentally drive to Nebraska. Just arrive at a good time and make sure to use Google Maps. It's
There you go.
always good to do. That works. And that's all you need to do. Just don't make a wrong turn in Nebraska, and you should win this game.
There you go.
That's my key to the game. That's my deep analysis of this Friday. So Silver Lake bus driver, just I hope you guys get there and at the right time. Oh man.
Yeah, so moving on to Seaman. Seaman drops to Baser Linwood 47-32. Looks like the over definitely hitting this one. This is where Isaac was. So yeah, I'll just turn it over to you.
Yeah, special teams was just like everybody thought it was going to be special teams. That was the kind of the highlight of the game. Baser Linwood had an insane start to the game. It was like they blocked a punt, took the fumble, took it to the house for an opening touchdown. They blocked a Seaman punt. Then they took a kickoff return for a touchdown. And then when they kicked it off, Seaman fumbled it and they recovered it. I mean, this all happened like bang, bang, bang right off the bat. It's like, some fumbles and everything else. And before you know it, Baser Linwood had a 20-point lead at the first quarter. But, at the end, throughout the game, it was like Seaman wasn't out of it. The score was all like, if Seaman had an explosive play and they answered with the touchdown, Baser Linwood would always answer one with an explosive play back. There was a 74-yard touchdown pass from Baser, 71-yard touchdown pass from Baser, 34-yard pass for a touchdown from Baser. Brady Van Dong, quarterback for Baser, Brant Wilson, their receiver, just studs, man. They're just studs. They just, honestly, just the big explosive plays from Baser. And it was just fireworks all night for Baser Linwood. It was huge explosive plays, special teams coming in clutch. And but Seaman always, I mean, it was 47-32, and Seaman would always try to answer back with the touchdown, but their drives took so long. They had 10 drives that lasted over 6 minutes, and each of the drives lasted over 6 minutes. So it was like they really took a lot of time off the clock. Bryson Botter ran the ball really well. I think he ran over 100 yards that night. And yeah, they took a lot of time off the clock. And then whenever Baser would get the ball back, it just seems like their explosive pass plays, they would just find the way to get to the end zone. And they two different carriers of the ball that night. As the quarterback had like 2 carries, and then their running back Ja'Kai Harris had like 23 carries for 72 yards, but everything else was pass. Mm-hmm. But Baser Linwood wasn't even on the field very much. So just the explosive plays and some special teams blunders from Seaman led to Baser's victory. So, but the fact that it was only 47-32, it could have been a lot worse. It definitely could have been a lot worse. So that's a testament to Jared Swafford and his staff for kind of cleaning it up along the way. But the 20 points in the first quarter, that was on the fumble and the blocked punt, all that other stuff. That was that didn't help by any means. So rough start equal to a loss. Basically, it's like Baser Linwood's explosive offense was just too hot to handle. So Yeah, it was a tough UKC matchup, but Baser, Linwood, and DeSoto will play for that UKC championship on Friday, and that will be an insanely good game. But yeah, Seaman just fell short, and I think the bye week's not going to help them. The bye week that they tried to get a game on, I don't think it's going to help with the winning percentage and stuff like that after the loss. So that game was extremely important to them, and it stinks that they fell short because that was a really important game for them.
Mhm. Yeah, and another important game coming up this week. They have a tough matchup with Piper, so looking forward to that one. It's gonna be a good game for sure. But moving on to Rossville, who gets a much needed 56-6 win over Pleasant Ridge to get back in the W column. Rossville just needs to start building momentum before playoff time. And they can do that. They can do that. They play Moore this week, and that looks like a winnable game. Because I think Rossville is always talented enough to make a run in the 2A playoffs. They've just had a really tough schedule. They play Hayden this year, Holton this year. Obviously, Silver Lake's always a tough game. So yeah, it's been rough for Rossville, rougher than they're used to for sure. But I think they'll have no problem making a run if they just get some momentum going and get the ball rolling.
Yeah, usually, if you're up 35-0 at half, you're probably you're probably gonna win that game. And that was the case for them. I mean, the only points that was it Pleasant Ridge? Yeah, Pleasant Ridge scored that night was in the fourth quarter. So I mean, it was much like you said, it was a much needed win for them because it was desperation time in Rossville at this point. It's like what was it, 2-4, I think was the record going in. So it was definitely desperation time because Rossville is facing tough opponents this year, and they got a young team and everything else. And like you said, right before the playoffs, that's a huge win for them. And did you say who they played next week? I'm not 100%
Yeah, they
sure.
play Moore Hill.
Oh, okay. So it could be a winnable game for them. And
Mhm.
um, ending your season at 500 is way better than ending your season at 3-5 or 2-6 and stuff. So I think that would be a win for them if they can come up with a win 2 weeks in a row, especially for that program standards and everything else, and to relieve some stress off these kids and everything else. Because the pressure of winning, if you're in a program like that, people around you aren't going to tell you to your face you need to do this and this. It's just something that comes with the job. It comes with putting that giant black helmet on with a red R on it. It's like you just
Mhm.
know what the standard is. So finish out with some winning, go win a playoff game or two, and try to make a run, man. That's all. I think that at this point, that's what you can do. I think after this week, you just got to erase those losses that you did have out of your head, and it's 0-0 for everybody at that point. So, um, just get hot. I think that's what they're doing right now. If they can come up with the win on Friday, they are officially hot. So, they need
Mhm.
to go do the dang thing. So, yeah, good job, Rossville, for the win, and keep it up. I think they can. I definitely think they can.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Another team that bounced back um, was Highland Park. Highland Park, they bounced back big time. 63-0 win over Northeast. Trey Richardson, once again, puts on a show. The man is a certified entertainer with the football in his hands. Um, and the Scots are going to be riding high because they play Washington next week. That's going to be a good matchup. I think Highland Park could win that big, but also I think Washington could give them some problems. So looking forward
Right.
to that one. But Scots are doing good. Scots are playing good again.
I just did some math here. Mr. Richardson, Trey Rich, T Rich, whatever you want to call him. He's got 40 touchdowns in 7 games. That is equivalent to 5.7 touchdowns a game. We're gonna round that up to 6. We're gonna round we'll just round up a little bit to 6 and say he's got 6 touchdowns a game. You know how crazy that is? That's 42 points. That's oh before the kickoff. It's what is it before the kickoff? It would be 42 points, right? No, I don't know. Anyways, just
Yeah,
imagine
something like that.
one guy one guy putting up 40 points a game. That's insane to me. That is insane. And he's just incredible. He's incredible. 2 punt return touchdowns, like that's unheard of. And the special teams touchdown is crazy to me. Why are you punting or kicking to him? They just
Right.
sail that thing out of bounds. Just don't even give him a chance, because all year long he's just made people just pay. And 40 touchdowns is, I don't know who's in the state lead for all purpose touchdowns or total touchdowns, but he's got to be. I mean,
It's got to be him. You got to think.
you would think, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of freaking points a game. That's a lot of touchdowns a game. And that's just his average is like 6 or 7. He's had what? He's had nights where he's had 8 and stuff like that. So, I mean, and think about the penalties, the penalty problems that the Scots have had this year. He's had, I don't even know, more than 10 touchdowns called back too. So it's
Yeah.
like he could be. I mean, pre-penalty, I think Trey Richardson's up to 51, 52 touchdowns at this point. But he's at 40, which is still really, really impressive. So I think that win over Northeast was definitely expected. You get Washington on Friday, which is also a pretty winnable game. Washington's a little bit better in the Northeast, but if the Scots can host a playoff game, that is awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Figuring where they were at coming to the year to where they are now to hosting a playoff game, like that's awesome. That's good
Yeah.
stuff. It's really good
No,
stuff.
definitely huge. Definitely a big time story for Highland Park. Moving on to Care Paravel, who drops their biggest loss of the season to Chase County. 56-8 was the final. I feel like we say it every week. Care Paravel's got it tough. I mean, Chase County is just one of the tough teams they've had to play all year. So you got to feel for those kids. But luckily, they play a very winnable game in their final week against
Marantha. I know it's hard. Yeah.
Marantha Christian Academy, who has not won a game all season, and Care Paravel has proven that they have enough talent, and I think they can beat a team that hasn't won a game all season. So looking forward to that for them. But definitely, man, it's tough. It's tough. First year of Keisha, you get maybe the toughest schedule in the state. Here you go.
To friggin' wolves on that. Yeah, it's we knew coming in like Chase County is one of the top top dogs, top bulldogs in the state. They're the top dogs. So Mitchell Budke is a star in the state, and that's Chase County's running back. Mitchell Budke is just an absolute star. 258 yards and 5 touchdowns against Care Paravel. Yeah, Chase County's 6-1, 3-1 in the division. I think Chase County's only loss to the year is to Burlingame, and Burlingame is a top, in my opinion, top 2 team in the state. They're not one. Just it's like they're my number 2, but they are a really impressive team, and Care Paravel's played them too. Care Paravel's played the Chase County, Linden, Madison, and it's Burlingame. It's ridiculous. Finally, to end their season, they get a game that could be in their favor. So it's like I think that's what they're like. Okay, finally, this juggernaut of a schedule is at least lightening up a little bit, because it's been brutal for them. And that's a home game too, and I think that's Care Paravel plays their home games at Highland Park, so the Highland Park High School. So I think go there, go see them. Most likely win. Golly, there was a 45-point spread at halftime against Chase County, so I think it was just running clock after that. But man, Chase County is really, really good. I mean, they're really, really good. But yeah, tough break yet again for Care Paravel. But move on to next week. Go get your win against Marinara Academy, and let's call it a day. And let's just end the season on a high note. Sure.
Marinara Academy.
Hey, that's a way to remember it, though. I remember Marantha. Say Marinara.
Oh man,
I'm a child.
So Shawnee Heights Shawnee Heights, also another bounce back team with a big time win over Topeka West, 49-6. Bauman gets back on track with a big time 4-touchdown performance, I believe. But T West is going through a lot right now. They got a lot of turmoil happening within their organization. So they're going to have a tough road no matter who they play.
Yeah.
Unlucky for them, they play Washburn Rural next week. So that's not going to be, well, I don't want to say anything, but
Yeah.
they're not going to be favored in that game is where I'm getting at. Just got to look for anything positive to end the year. So hopefully Topeka West can find something like that, and hopefully Shawnee Heights can keep rolling as well.
Yeah, and I honestly, you're right. It's like, it's not gonna be a it's not gonna be a winnable. It's not really, honestly, probably not gonna be a winnable game against Washburn Rural. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate for Topeka West that the year kind of ended the way they are. First year in Russell Norton's system, and then Russell is away from the team for personal reasons. Can't get into that quite yet, but the game on Friday night, the 49-6 loss or 49-6 win for Shawnee Heights. We'll start with a win. Alan Bowman, he reached the 1,000-yard mark this season in rushing yards. Congratulations on that. This first carry of the night was 22 yards, by the way. It was just like boom, right out of the gate. But he had 128 yards and 5 tuds on just 10. Yeah, on just 10 rushing attempts. So 12.8 yards a carry, 10 carries, 5 touchdowns. Pretty solid performance for. Oh, he made a Twitter, by the way. I saw he got a Twitter.
There we go.
There, finally. What took you so long, Mr. Bowman?
Shout out to Alan.
Shout out to Big Al, my guy, Big Al. Finally got that Twitter. Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah.
But it's congratulations to Bowman on getting that 1,000-yard mark on the season. For somebody that wasn't even hardly highlighted or on anybody's radar to start the year, Alan Bowman was the biggest shock to the prep scene this year. I think that would be an understatement, is saying he was the biggest shock all years, because we didn't know who he was because he didn't carry the ball very much last year because they had a star running back last year and Jaron Sanders. But now it's just like he's just a stud, man. It's like he's unbelievable, and he's had crazy games this year, multiple 200-yard plus rushing games, and Shawnee Heights getting that much needed win against, because what they have, DeSoto and Wamego back to back. It's like those are real tough teams. Shawnee Heights can beat those teams, but they came out on the losing side of things. But that was a big win for Shawnee Heights, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do going forward, because this team is really exciting. Because there's teams that can do really, really well against the run defensively, and then there's teams that just don't have it. And if Bowman, Shawnee Heights plays a couple of teams that just don't have it, oh man, they're gonna make some noise, I think, in the playoffs. But yeah, that's a heck of a team over in Tecumseh for sure.
Yeah, so looking forward to see what Shawnee Heights can do for sure moving forward. Finally, another team in a similar situation, Topeka West, can't catch a break. Topeka High. Topeka High traveled to Junction City on Friday night, where they lost 54-12. Man, it's just tough out here. Yeah, especially Topeka High has, besides their one winnable game against Emporia, they have just had it tough. That's the only tough.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, but that is the only winnable game that they've had this year. It's like that's just the unfortunate way it is. It's like, you open up your season on a Saturday afternoon against Avery Johnson and the Maize Eagles. I mean, that's just probably just going to tell you, like, that's what the competition is going to be like, because the Centennial League is so sparse now with all those teams leaving. But this not getting any easier. They'll have I think Hayes on Friday. Hayes is ranked number 3 in 5A, and it's tough out. You're right. It's brutal out in these streets, man. This is tough. And then they'll probably be a one of they will be a lower seed in the playoffs, and they'll play most likely a 1 or 2 seed. So it's just it's a
Man.
yep. But they got that win against. I'm glad they were able to play Emporia this year. At least able to get 1 win. I like Topeka West with Turner. It's like, okay, at least you don't go defeated. That's the worst. At least
Hmm.
you got a win, especially for those seniors, because that 1 win is going to mean a lot more than no wins. So, but yeah, got to move on to Hayes. And I've been saying it the last 3 weeks. Go be a jerk. Go ruin
Right.
somebody's season. If this is the week, you can really, really ruin somebody's night if you go win this game. So, go be the villain. Go be the bad guy. Go and is it? Oh, it's at Hummer Sports Park. That's good. They don't have to travel to Hayes, but if
Hmm.
they travel to Hayes and win that game, just miraculously, just putting it out to the universe, if they win that game, that'd be um, Hayes will never forget Topeka High. That's for
Hmm.
sure. But yeah, go be a jerk. Go win this game. That's all. I think that's all you really can do at this point.
Right.
But
No, and they have talent for sure. They were moving the ball against Junction City, just couldn't finish the drives. That's the game that I was at. So, um, yeah, they got the pieces. They're just young and inexperienced, I think is a good word to use for now. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure morale can't be super high uh following all these losses. So, yeah, it's just tough for them. It's just tough for them. But if they can find one little spark and get it going, it's gonna be huge for them. So, but yeah, that's all we got for this week. We will be back next week with another episode of Top Sports Talk. Once again, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you never miss an episode. And yeah, comment down below something you love about playoff high school football. And we'll see you next week. Unless Isaac, you got anything else?
have a good week, everybody. We'll see you. Go enjoy some football, some golf, some cross country. Go enjoy it. Go enjoy it all.
There you
Have
go.
fun.